On Monday, there's a note on my desk to see Bruiser. He pushes a pile of paper across to me. This is why it's painful to sue big companies. This is Great Benefit's motion to dismiss the blacks lawsuit, and it's supported by a 64-page document. They'll file every motion they can. They make money, the trial is delayed. You're exhausted. Get busy. After the third reading, I calm down and start taking notes. I think about how much I hate Great Benefit and what it's done to my client, and I work hard. Deck has developed a habit of stopping by my office on his way to lunch. Today he tells me he thinks Bruiser is in trouble with a former business partner who has testified against him. Saturday, a month after I took the bar exam, I get a letter telling me that I passed the bar. The next morning, I shower and go to an expensive coffee bar and read the papers. There's something about the bar exam and a list of people who passed. There I am. It's true. I searched for Booker Kane, but he's not listed. I can see him now, helping Charlene dress the children, trying to smile, trying to persuade them both that he'll pass it next time. But I know he's worried about his job. Booker is a proud man who's always believed he could achieve anything. I would love to drive over there, but it wouldn't work. He'll call tomorrow and congratulate me. Bruiser calls Deck and me into his office. He congratulates me on passing the bar exam before talking about the Van Lendel settlement. The Van Lendels will be calling in for their share of the $100,000 later today. He feels that Deck and I should get something for our work. It's been a quick settlement, and Bruiser has worked on it for less than 6 hours. Deck and I are wondering what he did for 6 hours. His share is a third, $33,000. I'm going to give you boys a third of that, to be split equally. Thanks, Bruiser. That's really generous, I say. Yeah, thanks, says Deck. We're both surprised, but we're thinking that Bruiser gets $22,000 for 6 hours' work. But I didn't expect anything, and suddenly I feel wealthy. Are we ready for tomorrow? Bruiser asks me. We're going to argue against Great Benefit's motion to dismiss the case. I think so, I reply nervously. I might let you handle some of the argument, so be ready. All 3 of us will go to court. They'll have 20 people there. Deck and I have lunch at a steakhouse. Very strange, he says. It's not usual for Bruiser to give money away like this. Something's going to happen. Believe me, I know it is. Like what? They're watching him, the police. They'd love to put him out of business. Out of business? Yeah, and we'll be caught in the middle. I tell you, Rudy, I'm nervous. So what are you saying? We've got to get out. Now. I start to ask what he means, but it's obvious. Deck can't work alone, and I've passed the bar exam, so he needs me. We've got money now, says Deck. We could rent an office, start our own business. No, it's too expensive, I reply. Deck looks at me and smiles. Hey, I've already found a great place, and it's cheap. Now, wait a minute, Deck. Believe me, we've got to move. I know things, Rudy. Things I can't tell you, okay? Bruiser's in big trouble. I strongly suspect Deck is telling the truth. Let me sleep on it. Okay, let's meet before court tomorrow. In a cafe. We can't talk in our office. Take your files home and anything else you might want from your office. Now. This afternoon. I don't sleep much, and it's still dark when I meet Deck. Well, he says. Let's try it for a year, I say. Deck can't hide his excitement. He holds his hand out for me to shake. It's a big moment for him. Did you remove all your files? He whispers. Yes. And you? I've been taking stuff out for a week. At 8, we walk down to our offices, but by 8:15, Bruiser has still not arrived. He said he'd be there at 8. Deck and I leave the office at 8:45. Relax, Deck says. Bruiser will be in court, and if he's not, you'll do fine. Just shut up and drive, Deck. Bruiser is not outside the courtroom, and as I slowly push open the door and look inside, the first thing I don't see is Bruiser. He's not here. The unpleasant man looking angrily at me must be Judge Harvey Hale. To my left is a group of men who all look the same. Short hair, dark suits, white shirts, straight ties, hard faces, nasty little smiles. Excuse me, sir. I'm here for the Black case. And who are you? My name's Rudy Baylor. I work for Bruiser Stone. Where's Mr. Stone? The judge asks. I'm not sure. He was supposed to meet me here. Do you want to argue this motion later? No, sir. I'm prepared to argue the motion. Are you a lawyer? Well, I just passed the bar. But you haven't received your license? No, sir. Next week. One of the lawyers stands. For the record, my name is Leo F. Drummond of Tinley Britt. We object to this young man arguing the motion without a license. He points at me, and I hate him already. I've passed the bar exam, Your Honor. Mr. Baylor, who will handle this case? I will, Your Honor. And Mr. Stone? I can't say, but this is my case. Mr. Stone filed the suit for me until I passed the bar. Very well. Let's continue. Drummond begins and soon becomes boring. Then it's my turn. I'm nervous, and when I'm finished, the judge says, I'd like to see you both, privately. I wait for Drummond, who is polite. He even tells me I did a good job. The judge is standing behind his desk as we enter. Please, have a seat. We sit. I'm really tired of these types of lawsuits. I feel like dismissing the case. Excuse me while I visit the toilet, says Judge Hale, and steps to a smaller door across the room, locking it loudly. I'm speechless. Drummond looks at me, all warmth, and smiles. Look, Rudy, I'm a very expensive lawyer from a very expensive firm. With a case like this, we calculate the cost of the trial to great benefit will be between $50,000 and $75,000. He waits for me to say something, but I just stare at his tie. Great Benefit has instructed me to offer you and your clients $75,000 to settle the case. A dozen wild thoughts race through my mind. $25,000. My fee. I can see it. But why is he offering me the money if his friend Harvey is ready to dismiss the case? And then I realize it's a routine. Harvey frightens me, and then Leo steps in with the gentle touch. How many times have they done this before, here in this office? It's a one-time offer, only good for the next 48 hours. If you say no, then it's World War III. He's smooth. His honor returns from his private little restroom, and now it's Leo's turn to excuse himself. Not a great lawsuit, I'm afraid, Hale says. Maybe I can persuade Leo to make an offer of settlement. He's just offered me the cost of the defense, I say. Hale tries to seem surprised. How much? $75,000. His mouth falls open. Look, son, you're crazy if you don't take it. You think so? I ask, playing his game. The door opens and Leo comes back. His Honor stares at Leo and says, $75,000. That's what my client said, Leo explains. I'm sure of two things. First, Hale is serious about dismissing the lawsuit. Second, Drummond is too anxious to settle. I leave the room with Leo's arm around my shoulder. On the drive back to the office, Deck makes a very good argument that no amount of money will save Donnie Ray's life now. So we should take what we can and make things a bit easier for Dot and Buddy. Bruiser's secretary is crying when we arrive. Nobody has seen Bruiser, and she knows something is wrong. I call Yogi's. Prince will know where Bruiser is. I find out that Prince has gone too. I hope he's safe. I've got a lot on my mind right now, but I still can't stop thinking about Kelly Riker. I know she's going to get another beating from her husband. It's only a question of time. And the thought of that baseball bat connecting with her beautiful body makes me want to kill him. Chapter 7. Donnie Ray's Statement. Dot seats me at the kitchen table and says Donnie Ray is getting weaker and weaker. We went to court yesterday for the first time, I tell her. The insurance company has made an offer to settle the case. How much? They calculate they'll pay their lawyers $75,000 to defend the case, so they're offering it now to settle everything. Dot goes red in the face. Those bastards think they can shut us up now, right? Yes, that's what they think. Donnie Ray needed a bone marrow transplant last year. Now it's too late. I agree. Her eyes are red and wet. I was wrong. This mother has not given up. Just what are we supposed to do with $75,000? Donnie Ray will be dead, and it'll be just me and him. She points at the Fairlane. I guess you said we'd take it, didn't you? Of course not. I can't settle the case without your permission. We have until tomorrow morning to decide. We'd better talk to Donnie Ray, she says, and leads me to his bedroom. Donnie Ray gives me a big smile and tries to keep smiling. Dot holds his hand while he listens carefully. Will they go higher? He asks. Great Benefit has made the jump from 0 to 75,000. Deck and I suspect they may go as high as 100,000, but I won't be so optimistic in front of my clients. I doubt it, I say, but we can try. How much will you get? He asks. I explain how my third comes off the top. He looks at his mother and says, That's $50,000 for you and Dad. You can finish paying for the house, buy a new car, put some in the bank for your old age. I don't want their money. Donnie Ray touches my arm. Do you want to settle, Rudy? No, I don't, I say. I look at him, then her. They wouldn't offer this money if they weren't worried. I want people to know what Great Benefit has done. I leave them in hope that when I come back tomorrow, I won't have to tell them that our case has been dismissed. Across town, Deck is waiting, smiling proudly. What do you think? 4 rooms, plus restroom. Not bad, he says. I thought this would be the reception area. Maybe we'll use it for a secretary when we hire one. We step through an open door and into a short hall. 1 room on each side. This one here's the largest, so I thought you'd need it. I step into my new office and am pleasantly surprised. It's about 15 feet by 15 with a window on the street side. It's empty and clean. I thought we'd use the other room for conferences. I'll work out of here, but I won't make a mess. He's trying hard to please me. Just relax, Deck. I like it. Hey, I almost forgot. He turns on the television. It's the noon news report. The first thing we see is our old office. Employees are being allowed to come and go, but aren't allowed to remove anything. The next shot is from outside a club, one of several known for the few clothes worn by its dancers when they are entertaining clients. The police, we learn, are searching for Mr. Stone and Mr. Thomas, who are suspected of a number of criminal activities. Prince loved cash. I know that much. On my first day at Yogi's, one of the waitresses told me that 80% of Prince's income was never reported. Whatever he's done, Prince is my friend, and I hope he's safe. "Run, Bruiser! Run!" Deck says. I know Deck's having a hard time controlling his excitement. The idea of having his own office and keeping half the fees without a law license is great for him. The offices will look beautiful in a week. However, when Deck calls me for the second morning before the sun is up, it's difficult to be nice. "Have you seen the paper?" he asks. "I was sleeping." "Sorry. Bruiser and Prince are on the front page." "If you want to wake up at 4, then fine. But don't call me until 7. No, 8. Sorry, but there's more. Guess who died last night?" "How am I supposed to know?" I give up. "Judge Hale. Fell down dead by his swimming pool." I try to clear my head. "That's hard to believe." "Yeah, there's a picture of him. What a bastard." "How old was he?" I ask. I don't know why. 62. You need to see the paper." "Yes, I'll do that, Deck. See you later." The paper seems a bit heavier this morning, and I'm sure it's because at least half of the stories are about Bruiser Stone and Prince Thomas. They have not been seen. I continue reading and find a very old photo of Judge Hale. Who will get his job? The local population is half white and half black, but only 7 of the top judges are black. Last year, when an old white judge retired, an effort was made to appoint a black judge. It didn't happen. Many people think that Tyrone Kipler, a Harvard-educated partner of Booker's firm, will be appointed. That's good news, since he helped Booker and me with our studies, and I have a lot of respect for him. At exactly 9 o'clock, I'm at the courthouse checking the Black versus Great Benefit file. Fortunately, His Honor Hale did not sign an order to dismiss our case before he died. I called Tinley Britt from a payphone and asked for Leo F. Drummond. I express my sorrow at the loss of his friend, and I tell him my clients will not accept his offer. He seems surprised, but has little to say. "I think that's a mistake, Rudy," he says patiently. "Maybe, but my clients made the decision, not me." "Oh well, then it'll be war," he says sadly. He does not offer more money. Booker and I have talked twice on the phone since we received the results of the bar exam. As expected, he's not complaining about failing, and he's really happy for me. He's already sitting down when I arrive at the cafe, and we order our favorite foods. Charlene and the kids are fine. He thinks that he may pass the bar anyway, since his score was only 1 point below the passing mark. He has written to the Board of Law Examiners, who are looking at his exam again. His boss said he'd better pass next time, or the firm will have to put someone else in his job. Booker thinks Tyrone Kipler's appointment is definite. I tell him everything that's happened with the Black case, and he laughs when I tell him that it's now sitting in Judge Hale's court waiting for the new judge. I tell him all about the games Drummond and Hale were playing 3 days ago when we went to argue the motion. Booker listens closely as I talk of Donnie Ray and his twin, and the transplant that didn't happen. "No problem," he says more than once. "If Tyrone gets the appointment, he'll know all about the Black case." "So, you can talk to him?" "Absolutely. He can't stand Tinley Britt, and he hates insurance companies. He sues them all the time. He'll listen." Our food arrives. I tell him about my new office, but not my new partner. Andy asks a lot of questions about my old office. The whole city is talking about Bruiser and Prince. I tell him everything I know. The day after Tyrone Kipler is appointed as judge, he calls me into his office, which was Hale's. Kipler is under 40, speaks softly, and looks you straight in the eye. He's extremely bright. I thank him for helping me pass the bar exam. He says kind things about Harvey Hale, but he's surprised that Hale had so few active cases. He's chosen a few for quick movement and is ready for some action. "You think this Black case should move quickly?" "Yes, sir. The points are simple. There won't be many witnesses." "How many statements will you take?" "Less than 10. "You'll have trouble with the documents," he says. "I've sued a lot of insurance companies, and they never give you all the paperwork. It'll take us some time to get all the documents you're supposed to have." I like the way he says us, and there's nothing wrong with it. It is part of his role as judge to help everyone get the evidence they're supposed to have. "File a motion to have the case heard quickly," he says. "Unless the defense have some very good arguments, you'll get it." He tells me to call him if I have any questions. I've got into the habit of calling Donnie Ray each afternoon, usually around 5. After the first call several weeks ago, Dot mentioned how much it meant to him. We talk about a variety of things, but never his illness or the lawsuit. I tell him about something funny that happened during the day, and I know the calls are an important part of the last days of his life. He sounds strong this afternoon. He says he's been out of bed and he'd love to go somewhere for a few hours and get away from the house and his parents. I pick him up at 7, and we eat dinner at a little neighborhood cafe. We talk about his childhood, funny stories from the earlier days of Memphis. We laugh a little, probably the first time in months for him. But conversation makes him tired. He hardly touches his food. Just after dark, we arrive at a park where teams are playing baseball. I help Donnie Ray into a folding chair from the trunk of my car, then go and buy him a Coke. He thanks me again and again for bringing him here. I pay particular attention to one of the players as he walks to the fence and speaks to his girl. Kelly smiles. I can see her eyes shine. And Cliff laughs. He gives her a little kiss and goes back into the game. They appear to be happy. He loves her, and wants the guys to see him kiss her. I should be glad that she appears to be happy and healthy. Maybe he stopped drinking. Maybe it's time for me to stop thinking about her. After an hour, Donnie Ray is ready for sleep. We drive and talk about his statement. I filed a motion today, asking the court to allow me to take a statement from him now that can be used at the trial. He will soon be too weak for 2 hours of questions from lawyers. "We'd better do it pretty soon," he says softly. I was not looking forward to taking Donnie Ray's statement in our new offices. They're small, and we don't have enough chairs. It would be embarrassing. But on Friday, the day before Donnie Ray is supposed to give his statement, Dot tells me that he's too weak to leave the house. I call Drummond, who says he cannot agree to move the statement from my office to the home of my client. Rules are rules, and I'll have to arrange a later date. He's very sorry. He, of course, would like to make it after the funeral. I called Judge Kipler. Minutes later, Judge Kipler calls Drummond, and after just a few minutes, the statement is moved to the home of Dot and Buddy Black. Kipler plans to attend. This is extremely unusual, but he has his reasons. Donnie Ray is seriously ill. The Black home seems much smaller and hotter. Donnie Ray is sitting in bed, more cheerful now. We've talked about this for hours, and he says he's ready. Dot is making coffee and washing walls. Buddy has been cleaned. His shirt is white. I can't imagine how Dot managed this. I'm proud of my clients. Deck has borrowed an old video camera. He looks through the house and tells me quietly that there simply isn't enough room. Judge Kipler arrives, meets everyone, and after a minute says, "Let's take a look outside." In the corner of the yard is a big old tree that provides nice shade. "What's wrong with this?" he asks under the tree. "Let's get some chairs." Drummond arrives at 9 exactly, not a minute early, bringing only 2 other lawyers with him. "You'll sit here," His Honor says, pointing to 3 kitchen chairs. We seat Donnie Ray in a cushioned chair. His breathing is heavy, and his face is wet. I politely introduce him to everyone, but he's too weak to shake their hands, so he tries his best to smile. We move the camera directly onto his face. There will be other voices off camera, but his face will be the only one the jury sees. Kipler asks Donnie Ray if he's ready, then instructs the court reporter to start. Donnie Ray promises to tell the truth. I ask him his name, address, birth date, some things about his parents and family. Basic stuff, easy for him and me. He answers slowly and into the camera, just as I've instructed him. He knows every question I'll ask. Although I didn't tell him to act as sick and weak as possible, he certainly appears to be doing it. Or maybe he only has a few days left to live. I carefully ask Donnie Ray questions about his illness and the treatment he didn't receive. He can't repeat anything his doctor told him, and he can't give medical opinions, but other witnesses will, I hope. I finish in 20 minutes. Leo Drummond introduces himself for the camera, then explains who he represents and how much he regrets being there. He's not talking to Donnie Ray, but to the jury. His voice is sweet. He's a man who cares. He gently asks whether Donnie Ray has ever left his house, even for a week or a month, to live anywhere else. They'd love to show that he left home and so shouldn't be covered by the policy his parents paid for. Donnie Ray answers with a polite and sickly No, sir. Did he ever work for a company where health insurance was provided? A few more questions like this are all answered with a soft, no, sir. Drummond knows he must be careful. The jury will not like any rough treatment of this young man. He finishes in less than 10 minutes. Dot is quick to wipe her son's face with a wet cloth as Donnie Ray looks at me to see how he did. I smile. Judge Kipler begins carrying chairs back to the house, and Dot and I help Donnie Ray to the house. Just before we step into the door, I look to my left. Deck is at the fence, talking to the neighbors and passing out my cards. I arrive early for my appointment with Dr. Walter Cord and wait for an hour before a nurse comes and takes me to an examination room. A young man of about 35 rushes in. Mr. Baylor, he says, holding out a hand. Walter Cord. Let's hurry if we can. I have a lot of patients. I know doctors hate lawyers. I don't blame them. We need a statement from you. I'm very busy, he says. I know, it's not for me, it's for Donnie Ray. I charge $500 an hour for testifying. This doesn't shock me because I expected it. In law school, I heard stories of doctors charging even more. I'm here to beg. I can't afford that, Dr. Cord. I opened my office 6 weeks ago, and this is the only real case I have. It's amazing what the truth can do. This guy probably earns $1 million a year. He hesitates for a second. Maybe he thinks of Donnie Ray and not being able to help. Maybe he feels sorry for me. Who knows? I'll send you a bill, okay? Pay when you can. Chapter 8. Surprises for Drummond. Next, it is Dot's turn to make a statement. Judge Kipler wants to be present for this one, too. I spent 2 hours with her yesterday preparing for Drummond's questions. She'll be around to testify at the trial, but this is Drummond's chance to gather information, and it will take hours. Poor Dot's hands are shaking as she sits alone at the end of the table. She's wearing her best cotton blouse and her best jeans. I explained to her that she did not have to dress up because the video will not be shown to the jury. At trial, however, it will be important for her to wear a dress. So there are 5 lawyers and a judge staring at Dot Black as she raises her right hand and promises to tell the truth. The first hour is spent on family history, and Drummond, as usual, is well prepared. Halfway through the 3rd hour, we finally get around to the claim. I have prepared a copy of every document connected to the file, including Donnie Ray's medical records, and these are in a neat pile on the table. We have no bad documents, but I don't know whether Drummond is so lucky. According to Kipler and Deck, it's not unusual in these cases for the insurance companies to hide things from their own lawyers. In fact, it's quite common, especially when the company has nasty things it would really like to bury. We start with the policy. The next document is the first letter of denial, then the stupid letter. I've told Dot to simply hand this to Drummond without saying anything. It's difficult for her, because the letter makes her so angry. Drummond takes it, reads it. Dear Mrs. Black, on 7 previous occasions, this company has denied your claim in writing. We now deny it for the 8th and final time. You must be stupid, stupid, stupid. Drummond has spent the last 30 years in courtrooms, and he is an excellent actor. But I know immediately that he has never seen this letter. His client didn't include it in the file. His mouth falls slightly open. He reads it a second time. He raises his eyes above the letter and looks at me. I am staring at him, a stare that says, "Caught you, big boy." 6.5 hours after we started, Kipler says that he's finished. It's early Sunday morning, and I'm riding to the bus station in Deck's car. The weather is clear and beautiful. The first touch of fall in the air. Memphis is lovely in October. Judge Kipler has set the date of the trial for February 8th and ordered Drummond to make sure that key employees at Great Benefit in Cleveland are available to give statements. A round-trip plane ticket to Cleveland costs just under $700. The law firm of Rudy Baylor cannot afford to fly me to Cleveland, so I'm going by bus. I'll be in Cleveland by 11 tonight, and the statements from the Great Benefit employees start at 9. I'm sure that the Tinley Britt lawyers are still sleeping. Later they will have breakfast, read the Sunday paper with their wives, then have a nice lunch. Around 5, their wives will drive them to the airport. After an hour in first class, they'll land in Cleveland and be driven to the finest hotel in the city. After a delicious dinner with drinks and wine, they'll meet in a comfortable conference room and plot against me until late. About the time I check into a cheap hotel, they'll be getting into bed, ready for war. I, of course, won't be able to sleep. Around the table are 8 enemies in dark suits, white shirts, expensive ties, and black shoes. 8 against 1. They look bright-eyed and fresh. "Now, Rudy, we thought we'd start with the statement of Jack Underhill," says T. Pierce Morehouse, one of the 4 Tinley Britt lawyers. "No, I don't think so," I say, nervously. "Pardon?" "You heard me. I want to start with Jackie Lemanchek, the claims handler. But first, the file." "We think you should start with Mr. Underhill." "I don't care what you think. Shall we call the judge?" Kipler's order clearly states that the 6 witnesses I've requested should be available at 9 this morning, and that I decide in which order to see them. "Well, we have a problem with Jackie Lemanchek. She doesn't work here anymore." I stare at him. "When did she leave?" I ask. "Late last week. We were in court Thursday. Did you know it then?" "No, she left Saturday." "Where is she now?" "She's not an employee. We can't produce her." "Okay. How about Tony Crick, assistant claims examiner?" "He's gone too." "How interesting," I say, absolutely amazed. "Has Richard Pelrod, claims examiner, gone too?" "No, he's here." "And Russell Crockett?" "Mr. Crockett left us for another company." Russell Crockett, head of the claims department, wrote the stupid letter. "And Everett Lufkin?" "No, he's here." "Where's the file?" Pierce gives me a thick pile of papers. "Give me an hour, then we'll continue." "Sure," T. Pierce says. "There's an office there." I return an hour later. We need to call the judge. With T. Pierce on one phone and me on another, I call Kipler. "We've got some problems, Your Honor," I say. "What kind of problems?" "Well, of the 6 witnesses in my notice, 3 suddenly left the company very late last week." I read him the names. "How about the file?" "I've had a look. At least one document is missing." "What is it?" "The stupid letter." "Is this true, Pierce?" "I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't know. I've gone through the file, but I haven't checked everything." Are you guys in the same room? Yes, sir, we both answer. Pierce, leave the room. Rudy, stay on the phone. Okay, Judge, it's just me, I say when Pierce has left. What's their mood? He asks. Pretty tense. I'm not surprised. By losing witnesses and hiding documents, they've given me the right to order that all statements will be taken down here. Question Underhill only. Ask him everything you can think of, but find out what happened to the 3 missing witnesses. I'll order a hearing for later this week and find out what's going on, he says. I question Underhill for 3 hours, then stop. I thought I would have to stay in Cleveland for days, but I leave this place just before 2 with new documents to examine. These boys will have to come to my town. The bus ride back to Memphis seems much faster. On the Thursday, we're in Kipler's courtroom at 5:30 in the afternoon. His Honor picked this time so Leo F. Drummond has to rush over after a long day in court. I warned you about the documents, Mr. Drummond. I thought I was rather specific. Now, what happened? This is probably not Drummond's fault. His client is playing games with him. I almost feel sorry for him. There's no excuse, Your Honor, he says. And when did you first learn that these witnesses don't work for your client anymore? Sunday afternoon. Did you try to contact Mr. Baylor? We couldn't find him. We even called the airlines. They didn't call the bus companies. Sit down, Mr. Drummond, His Honor says. 1 week from next Monday, we will meet here for the statements of Richard Pelrod, Everett Lufkin, Kermit Aldi, and M. Wilfred Keeley, the company director. They will pay their own travel costs. They will make themselves available to Mr. Baylor and cannot leave until he allows them to. All court costs will be paid by great benefit. Copies of all the documents in order will be delivered to Mr. Baylor by Wednesday of next week. Great Benefit will also pay Mr. Baylor the cost of his wasted trip to Cleveland. Mr. Baylor, how much is a round-trip plane ticket to Cleveland? $700. Is that first class? No, sir. Mr. Drummond, you guys sent 4 lawyers to Cleveland. Did they fly first class? Drummond looks at T. Pierce, who looks like a child caught stealing, then says, Yes, sir. First class. I thought so. How much is a first-class ticket? $1,300. How much did you spend on other bills, Mr. Baylor? Actually, I spent less than $40. Around $60, I say, cheating, but not being greedy. Then, 4 hours traveling time at $200 an hour, that's $800. Any other expenses? $250 to the court reporter. He writes this down, adds it all up, checks it. I order the defendant to pay Mr. Baylor $2,410 within 5 days. If Mr. Baylor does not receive this sum, it will automatically double each day until the check is received. Do you understand, Mr. Drummond? I'm smiling. Drummond rises slowly. He's angry. I object. There is no proof that Mr. Baylor flew first class. The trip to Cleveland and back is worth $1,300 to your firm, Mr. Drummond. That's what I'm ordering your client to pay. Mr. Baylor does not get paid by the hour, he replies. Are you saying that his time is not valuable? You'll pay him $200 an hour. Consider yourself lucky. I quickly pick up my papers and leave. For dinner, I eat a bacon sandwich with Dot. Buddy is spending more and more time in his Fairlane. It will only be a few days now before Donnie Ray dies, and Buddy's way of dealing with it is to hide out there in the car and drink. He sits with his son for a few minutes each morning, then tries to avoid everybody for the rest of the day. We talk about the lawsuit, but Dot's lost interest. 6 months ago, she honestly thought a lawyer, even me, could scare great benefit into doing right. There was still hope. Not now. Dot will always blame herself for Donnie Ray's death. She didn't go straight to a lawyer when Great Benefit first denied the claim. Instead, she chose to write the letters herself. She serves me a cup of coffee, and I take it into Donnie Ray's room, where he's asleep under the sheets. The only light comes from a small lamp in the corner. The room is still. Donnie Ray has planned the funeral. He wants me to help carry his body. I pick up the same book I've been reading for 2 months now, one of the few books in this house. I leave it in the same place and read a few pages on each visit. I hear a strange voice in the living room, and then a knock on the door. It opens, and I slowly recognize Dr. Cord. "Just passing by," he says softly. "Sit down," I say, pointing to the only other chair. We sit with our backs to the window, our eyes on the dying boy. "I've been thinking about this trial," Cord says very quietly. "Any idea when it might happen?" "February 8th. Would it be better if I testified in court instead of recording a statement?" "Of course." "Then I'll do it. I won't send a bill." "That's very generous." "It's the least I could do. Do you know what my job involves? I diagnose people, then I prepare them for death." "I guess someone has to do it." "It's not that bad, really. I love my work." He pauses and looks at his patient. "This is a hard one, though. There was treatment available at a cost. I was willing to give my time and effort, but it's still a $200,000 operation. No hospital can afford that kind of money." "It makes you hate the insurance company." "Yeah, it really does." "Let's beat them." "I'm trying to," I say. We walk quietly past Donnie Ray and say goodbye to Dot, who's sitting out front. Chapter 9. The Funeral. The phone call I've been afraid of getting finally comes on Sunday morning. It's Dot. She tells me she found him about an hour ago. He went to sleep last night and never woke up. Her voice is a little weak, but she is managing to control her emotions. We talk for a bit, and I realize that my throat is dry and my eyes are wet. I tell her I'm sorry and promise to visit this afternoon. Then I close my eyes and say the last of many prayers for Donnie Ray. I called Judge Kipler with news of the death. The funeral will be tomorrow afternoon at 2, which is a problem because the great benefit statements are due to start at 9 in the morning and continue for most of the week. I'm sure the suits from Cleveland are already in town, probably in Drummond's office right now practicing for the camera. Kipler tells me to be in court at 9 anyway, and he'll handle things from there. I tell him I'm ready. When I get to the Blacks, the whole neighborhood is there. I tell Dot simply that I am sorry, and she thanks me for coming. I go and sit outside alone. I'm soon joined by a young man who looks oddly familiar. "I'm Ron Black," he says, sitting. "The twin." He looks strong and healthy. "Nice to meet you," I say. "So, you're the lawyer." He's not in a talkative mood. His sentences are short and forced, but after a time he tells me that he was ready and willing to give his marrow to save his brother, and that he'd been told by Dr. Cord that he was a perfect match. He's happy to explain this to a jury, and he doesn't ask how much money he might get. After 2 hours, I'm really tired. I excuse myself and leave. On Monday, there's a whole crowd of men in dark suits sitting around Leo F. Drummond on the far side of the courtroom. I can imagine how angry the top men from Great Benefit were when they found out that they had to appear here today. Kipler calls Drummond and me to the front. "Mr. Drummond, Donnie Ray Black died yesterday." "I'm very sorry," Drummond says. "The funeral is this afternoon, and that's a problem. Mr. Bailey is taking part in the funeral. In fact, he should be with the family right now. Drummond, have your people here next Monday. Same time, same place." These very important men from Great Benefit will be forced to rearrange their busy lives. "Why not start tomorrow?" Drummond asks. It's a perfectly good question. "I run this court and control the trial, Mr. Drummond." "But, Your Honor, these gentlemen have gone to a lot of trouble. It might not be possible next week." This is exactly what Kipler wants to hear. "Oh, they'll be here, Mr. Drummond. They'll be here Monday morning." "Well, I think it's unfair. With respect." "Unfair? We wanted these statements 2 weeks ago. Your clients started playing games." Kipler is punishing Drummond and Great Benefit. There will be a trial here in a few months, and the judge is telling the famous lawyer that he, His Honor, will rule at the trial. Behind a small country church, a few miles north of Memphis, Donnie Ray Black is laid to rest. I can hear Dot crying softly. I can see Buddy sitting next to Ron. It's a gray, cloudy day. A day for a burial. We finish with the last statement from Pelrod, Jackie Lemanchek's ex-boss, on Wednesday, 7:30 the following week. After 3 days of questioning and 1,000 pages of statements, the boys from Cleveland are ready to go home. "Nice job, Rudy," Leo Drummond says in a low voice. "Thanks." He breathes deeply. "Look, Rudy, I'd like to discuss settlement possibilities. We feel good about our defense, but this judge is against us." "How much?" I ask. $150,000. My client is dead. His mother buried him last week, and now you expect me to tell her there's some more money on the table? Your timing is terrible." "What does the lady want? Tell us, Rudy." "Nothing. He's dead. There's nothing you can do now." "So, why are you going to trial?" "She wants to show the world what Great Benefit has done. Then she wants to destroy it," I say. Drummond is silenced. Deck is a nervous wreck when I return to the office that evening. His friend Butch, a private detective, is sitting with him. Deck introduces us, refers to Butch as a client, then hands me a note. "Keep talking, not about work." As we talk about the funeral, Butch quickly unscrews the cap from the phone receiver and points inside to a tiny microphone. "Let's go get some coffee," Dec says. "Good idea," I say, feeling sick. Outside, I stop and look at them. What's going on? Dec asked Butch to check our phones. He thought maybe the FBI were listening to us, trying to get information about Prince and Bruiser. There are microphones in all 3 phones. What do we do? "Legally, you can remove them," Butch explains. "Or you can just be careful what you say." We go back and search the office for 4 hours and find nothing. It's only the phones. After several months in business, our office is beginning to look busier. The front room is crowded with rented tables piled high with documents for the black case. The phone rings even more now. It's difficult to talk on a phone with a microphone in it. The mail today is routine, except for 2 things. First, there is not a single document from Tinley Britt. The second surprise is an invitation to a pre-Christmas sale of gold jewelry in a local mall. Below the store's hours, in a rather lovely handwriting, is the name Kelly Riker. No message, nothing. Just the name. The jewelry store is one of over 100 shops in the mall. I enter and walk slowly to the long glass counter where Kelly is helping a customer. She looks up and smiles. "Can I help you, sir?" I look at her and melt. We smile at each other. "How are you?" I ask. "Fine. And you?" "Can we talk?" "Not here. There's a cinema down the mall. Buy a ticket for the Eddie Murphy movie. I'll be there soon." She had it all planned. She knew I'd come. She arrives a few minutes late. "Are we safe?" I ask her. "Yeah, he's out with the boys tonight." "Drinking again?" "Yes," she says, "but not much." "I worry about you. I think of you all the time. Do you ever think about me?" "All the time," she says, and my heart stops. Kelly slides her arm under mine and moves a little closer. Why am I sitting in a dark theater with a married woman? "Cliff wants me to have a baby." "Don't do it, Kelly." "I just wanted to see you, Rudy." "Either forget about me or file for divorce." "I thought you were my friend." "It's more than friendship, and both of us know it." "I can't forget about you." "Then let's file for divorce. I'll help you." She leans over, gives me a tiny kiss, and leaves. Dec and Butch have found out that the microphones are not the kind the police or the FBI use. "Somebody else is listening," Dec says over coffee. "But who?" I make a plan and discuss it with Dec. Dec leaves. 30 minutes later, he calls to talk about several cases that don't exist. We talk for a few minutes about this and that. Then I say, "Guess who wants to settle now?" "Who?" "Dot Black." "Dot Black?" Dec acts surprised. "Yeah. She said she'd take $160,000. Since their top offer is $150, she'd win a small victory if they pay more than they want." "Don't do it, Rudy. This case is worth a fortune." "I know, but legally I'm supposed to go to Drummond and try to settle. It's what the client wants." At 5 minutes to 9 the next morning, the phone rings. It's Drummond. We wired a tape recorder to my phone. "Rudy, Leo Drummond here," he says. "Rudy, you know my clients want to settle. These guys are important, you know, big money people with big careers to protect. We'll offer $175,000 to settle this thing right now. I don't think so. Look, Rudy, you need to talk to your client. I think she wants to settle. Call her right now. I'll wait here. The bastard probably has the microphone wired to his phone. He wants me to call her so he can listen. I'll get back to you, Mr. Drummond. Good day. I hang up and play the tape. Deck and I stare at the recorder. It was Drummond. He put the microphones in. I guess we should tell Kipler, I finally say. I don't think so, Deck says. We know that Drummond is responsible because we've just caught him, but we can't prove it. So what's Kipler going to do? Accuse him without proof? Let's save it for the trial. Let's wait for the perfect moment. Both of us smile, slowly. I wait 2 weeks and call Drummond with the sad news that my client does not want his money. She's acting a bit strange, I say. One day she's afraid of going to trial, the next day she wants her day in court. Right now she wants to fight. He doesn't expect anything. He threatens me by saying that Great Benefit will take the offer back if the blacks don't settle now. I'm sure this sounds good to the ears listening up in Cleveland. As for me, I'm slightly surprised at my ability to ignore the money. I'm young, and there will be other cases. And I'm sure that Great Benefit is scared and that they are hiding dark secrets. I'm worried, but I'm dreaming of the trial. Booker and Charlene invite me to Thanksgiving dinner. I get to their house, and the first words out of his mouth are, I passed it. His exam was regraded. His score was raised, and now he's a real lawyer. I tell him that Deck and I have finally made some money. We got a check the other day for a client's insurance claim. $25,000. The client gets $16,667, and we get exactly $8,333. Deck and I each took $3,000 and left the rest in the firm. I bought a car with my $3,000. Not exactly new, but a big improvement on my old Toyota. I'm going to spend the Christmas holidays visiting Max Luberg and other lawyers who have sued Great Benefit. Chapter 10. An Important Discovery. It's December 23rd when I finally arrive in Madison, Wisconsin. I find a small hotel and call Max, who's really happy that I'm in Madison. I've called him about once a month for advice on the Black case and sent him most of the documents. He knows the trial is 6 weeks away. He looks the same, wild hair, jeans, t-shirt. Any offers to settle? Yeah, several. They're up to $175,000, but my client says no. That's unusual, but I'm not surprised. It's one of the best cases I've ever seen, and I've looked at thousands. I tell him about our phones and the strong evidence that Drummond is listening to our calls. Then Max and I start work. He wants to beat these people. Save the best for last, he says. Play the tape of Donnie Ray testifying just before he died. It's a wonderful picture to leave the jury with. He slides something across the table to me. This is Great Benefit's new policy. Sold last month to one of my students. I paid for it. Guess what's not included now? Bone marrow transplants. Keep it and use it in court. I might even have to come and watch this trial. When Max and I say goodbye at the front door of the law school, I can't thank him enough. I've talked to 4 lawyers who've sued Great Benefit. The first 3 were no help. The 4th, Cooper Jackson, is in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He's not supposed to tell me most of what he tells me. He's settled with great benefit, and he and his client signed an agreement never to tell anyone what the details were. Jackson had a client with a great benefit policy who was refused treatment. The claim amounted to $11,000. Before they went to court, Great Benefit suddenly wanted a very quiet settlement. "This is the secret part," he says, obviously enjoying himself. "They paid us the $11,000, then threw in another $200,000 to make us go away." "Amazing," I say. "It's all here," he says, pointing to 3 large boxes. "Claims are automatically denied, and most people give up. About 1 in 25 will actually go to a lawyer." "How can you prove this?" "It's here, in the company manuals." I look through the manuals. One is for claims, the other for underwriting. At first, they appear identical to the ones I have. Then, I notice something different. In the back of the manual for claims is a section U. My copy does not have this section, and I begin to understand the way the game is played. The manual for underwriting also has a section U. When they are read together, the manuals direct each department to deny the claim, then to send the file to the other department with instructions not to pay until they receive further instructions. Those instructions never arrive. Neither of my manuals has a section U. The bastards in Cleveland, and possibly their lawyers in Memphis, hid these sections. It is an important discovery. Cooper says that there are other lawyers suing Great Benefit. We'll keep in touch. The pre-trial conference is held in the middle of January. We agree that 2 weeks should be reserved for the trial, though Kipler would like a 5-day trial. "Now, gentlemen, what about the settlement discussions?" asks Judge Kipler. I've told him their latest offer was $175,000. He also knows Dot Black is not interested. "What's your best offer, Mr. Drummond?" "Well, Your Honor, my clients are willing to offer $200,000 to settle." "Mr. Baylor?" "Sorry, my client has told me not to settle." Kipler hands a list to Drummond and me. "Now, these are names and addresses of the possible jurors, 92. We'll pick the jury a week before the trial, so be ready to go on February 1st. You may find out about their backgrounds, but any direct contact is a serious offense." By the time we have to choose the 12 jurors, Drummond will have a nice file on each of these people. The files will be examined by a team of expensive lawyers and psychologists who specialize in juries. I, on the other hand, have deck. I go to the mall at least 3 times a week now. She's walked by only once so far, but didn't see me. I sit here tonight, watching for her, and studying the jurors' information. My model juror is young and black, with at least a high school education. But women will be sympathetic to Dot for the loss of her child. The one type of juror I want to avoid is a white male suit like the boys from Cleveland. Chapter 11.